Hi everyone, my name's Donkey, and today we are once again back on the No Man's Sky, a little series thing we've got going. So, if you remember in the last video, I'll just give it a quick run. Basically we came up with some slots slash hotbar thing, which I think was pretty cool, I'd say. We've got the inventory there as well, which is working. So if we mine some dirt, it will come up on the inventory. Yep, and there you go. Problem is, at the moment the slots are all full up with dirt, and also it's in quite a weird place. Like, I'd rather have it much more over that way to the right side. I'm not quite sure why that is going wrong, and I think that might be something to do with the room. Yeah, let's change those to 720 by 720. I think that's what it is meant to be, and for some reason it's changed it at some point, or we've changed it at some point. No, not that. Maybe it's the view then, in which case. No, we don't have views enabled. Well, I don't know what's going on there then. We'll move it along a little bit later. But what we're going to be doing first is we're going to add a new sprite. So at the moment we have sprite block there, and we have sprite block wood, but we don't have anything for empty. So what we're just going to do is just duplicate this one. I'm going to call it sprite block, I don't know, empty or something. Empty, we'll say that. Just a blank one to work from, basically. So we're going to fill, I'm going to mark that down to nothing. In fact, let's change it to this one, that'd be quicker. Okay, now it's entirely empty, and we'll do the same with this one. And there we go. Okay, so now we just have some empty slots like that. Now let's just drag it up to the top. Problem is, at the moment we have our script database, and our ID 0 is dirt now. It's a bit of a problem because we want our ID 0 to be air. That's an actual matter of fact now. We're going to have to change these now because of that. Good thing about it is you can just change that number there because of the system here we've used. We don't have to go down and change each and every one. But what we're going to do in the air bit is copy all that down. We're going to give it a new background. We've got background air, we do. I'm going to say air. Okay. We shouldn't actually mine air technically, so if this comes up we've got a bit of an error. But anyway, sprite block air. Oh, is it? It's empty, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so now if we run it, that should now, fingers crossed, replace the dirt with an empty kind of slot look. And yep, it has worked. I don't think the atoms haven't been keyed in to go into the slots yet, but we can do that a bit later on in the series. But for the moment, we're just going to try and move that to the other side to make it look a little bit nicer. So this is just going to be a little clearing up kind of video, just to make things work a bit better and look a bit better as they currently are. So we're going to draw in the hotbar, but we're going to draw it a little bit further along. So we're going to want to make the X bigger. Okay, so to do that we're going to change the constant, which is here, and that's the bit that's changing. So we're going to say add, I don't know, 100. Let's add 100 and see how that works. Now, fingers crossed that should move it the right way, and we should still be on the screen, but it needs to look right. Now that hasn't moved whatsoever, as a matter of fact. So maybe we've put that in the wrong bit. Maybe we have put it in the wrong one. Don't think I've put it in the wrong one. Let's try and change that to 1000 and see if they disappear off. Because maybe they are moving. It's just so small I can't actually see it. Okay, no, they are moving. They were definitely moving. I was just completely blind. Okay, so let's change it to, I don't know, like 500. Maybe that'd be a little bit too much. Maybe a little bit too less even. Could be a bit less. Oh, didn't click the button there. Missing. Right then, a bit further. I'd say another 200 maybe. So we're looking at 700. Yeah. Okay, 700. Oh, that's 7,000. We don't want that many, I don't think. We don't want to move it that far along, otherwise it will definitely be going off. So, that's still a little far off. Maybe pull it back by like 90 back. I don't want to say a whole 100 because I don't think that would be quite right. So we're saying what, 610. Let's give this a go. Hopefully that will be kind of alright. We'll do, yeah, that looks pretty alright, I'd say there. Okay, let's make a bit of a start on assigning some blocks into these slots. So what we're going to do in our inventory, and actually we'll have a look at our draw slots as well, just to make sure we are referencing the right thing. Yeah, global.slots is that. Okay, so we'll add a step event. We'll say for var I. In fact, we can probably just copy this along from the GUI. Yep, that one there is the one we want. Put fulfill. Okay, so this loops through every single slot in our inventory. And then what we're going to say is if global.inv, I think we put it as. Let's just check that one. Yep, global.inv. And which is the first one? Let's see, 0 is the amount, I think. So let's just do 0. If the amount does not equal 0, so if we have an item in that slot, we are going to say global.slots. We're going to need another for loop, actually. I think we're going to need another one. So for var I equals 0, I is less than however many slots we have, which will be, open this up, 7. This might work, it might not. So now if we have an item in our first inventory slot, we're going to loop through every single hotbar slot and say if the global.slots, if the hotbar slot, in fact let's change these to I just so it doesn't confuse the two, does not equal 0. So if we also have, if we do have something in that, right, let me restart. So here we loop through all the inventory slots. Here we check if it is got an item in the first in that inventory slot. If it does, it moves on to the second for loop, which then goes through all the hotbar slots. It says if the hotbar slot is empty, it's going to assign it to it. And the way we're going to assign it is we're going to say like this equals global.inv 1 I. Okay. Missing something? Oh, we've got double equals. Okay, I think that should be alright now. Let me just check quickly that we... Yep. Okay, let's give this a run then quickly. I'm going to pause a little bit behind and just catch up a little bit. I've gone a little bit faster. Hopefully you've all understood what I've been saying there. So now, fingers crossed, if we mine something... okay. So we've mined something, but then what it's done is it's filled up all of our hotbar slots with it, which isn't what we want to do. We want it just to fill up one. So the way we're going to counteract this is in the inventory step. We are going to add another if statement. I'm going to say if global.slots well, that is rather weird. I think all we need to do really here is just put a break. Now that should hopefully work. I think what the problem was it was looping in that for loop forever, just filling up all of these slots. No, it did the exact same thing there. It did it slower though, you could definitely see it then. You could make it out. So I think for some reason it is setting them all to the same thing. One of these if statements is probably a bit wrong. So let's walk through. Okay, so we filled the first one up, which is right. Then we're on the second one, so we're saying if the inventory slot does not equal 0, which it still will, then we're going to loop through all these slots. Then we're going to say if it equals 0. Okay. Now I've noticed the slight issue there, and then for each step of this, or each game step, it's going to add one to the next slot along. So we need to add another for loop here. It's going to be exactly the same as this one, mind you. We'll just change these I to X's, or XX's. Double X, okay. I'm going to have a variable here, so we're going to set the variable as well up there. So move equals true. We're going to say if global.slots 0 xx equals global.inf 0 or 1 I, move equals false. I'll explain what this means in a minute. If move and do all this. Okay, so fingers crossed what this should do, if I can get my things aligned, is what it'll do is it'll set a variable up here at the start of the thing, then it will loop. All this is exactly the same here, but when it gets to here it starts another loop, looping through all the slots and saying that if any one of these slots equals the inventory slot that we're comparing to, then it's not going to fill it. It's not going to fill it because it knows that in our slots we've already got one of that item is already assigned to a slot. Okay, so yeah, there you go, that worked. Okay, so it didn't unfortunately work when we did the wood. The wood is added separately, but the dirt for the time being has worked by the looks of it. What if we had another wood? Okay, for some reason if we have two dirts, that made the wood come back to life. Okay. Whoa. Okay, that is rather weird. I'm guessing that somewhere we are reading off this number instead of this number, which is an issue for another day, to be honest. We're going on quite a long video at the moment, so we'll do a little bit of debugging in the next video and then go into some more block placement stuff. But for the time being, that was going to be it for this video. If you liked the video, remember to like, subscribe, or do what you guys want to do, and I will talk to you in the next one.